Can't tell if we got a separation or not. But usually that's a good pop. So this is all still tight. This is all still tight. See what happens. Heads up. That sounded like a different pop than the last time. That should be a good pop. Juicy. All right, let's see if that got it. Let's see what we ended up with here. Should be right about there. Seems to have gotten it. Oh, I don't know. I've done enough modifications that it should have. I'll show you guys what we did. So a couple things. One, this tool is meant for an earlier one. I guess there is a tool with a notch for that brake line bracket. I just drilled it out. I'll re-tack weld that back in. That's not a big deal. We used the original cheap Chinese bolts that came with this. It just pulled the threads out. So we ran down to the local hardware store. We got ourselves some grade 8 bolts, some spacers, because you definitely want to sandwich these two together. You don't want that floating. So I think we spent more money on hardware than we did on the actual tool itself. It's amazing. Stuff's gotten expensive. It's just not what the price it used to be. So we grabbed a bunch of grade 8 bolts and washers and got myself pinched in here again. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. Really? Today is just one of those, you know, one of those days when you're just like, why does everything just go this way? That's today. That's today for sure. Today's one of those like why days. You just wonder what's gonna go wrong next, and try not to be negative Nancy, but man, it's just everything's in the way. Come on. Just seems like there should be a simpler way, but I'm sure there is. Sure, I can put a little wobbly on that and all the fun stuff, but so we got all grade 8 hardware. We tried to get grade 10 with a collar to make, you know, strengthen it up, and I'm actually glad we didn't. But so far it looks like it worked. And then we went and got thicker washers, because the little cheap washers that, you know, it came with definitely had an issue. If you can see, it just pulled through the washers. So we got these nice thick washers. It's all 3/8 bolts. I think it's like 3/8 by 16 or something, I don't remember. But we bought some 1/2 inch spacers. We bought some 3/4 inch spacers. Everything to see what we could do to make this work. So here's our spacers. Make sure we got some nice thick ones, not some chintzy ones. These little suckers were $5 a piece, man. Holy crap. Probably could have made my own, but you know, getting the stuff that actually fits is, I feel like dealing with more crap. You know, sometimes you're just like, you know, I've dealt with enough. Let's just not make life more difficult. So using the original hardware that held this onto the truck in the first place is what holds it to that first bracket. And then all of that comes out. And that's the guy that does the job, supposedly. So all of that to get to here. Oh boy. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. So we're gonna get this separated, and then we'll pop this bearing out of here, separate all that, and I'll show you guys it going back together. But definitely not a happy bearing, you know, considering all that's one piece and all this is one piece. It shouldn't be sloppy like that. So also don't forget the way your collar tapered and which way it's sat. You got a flat side. Whew, man, that thing is just roasted. This was definitely ready to go. So don't forget which way everything went together. Clean everything up before you go back together. And we'll finish getting this thing apart. And yeah. Oh. Fun stuff, man. Fun freaking stuff. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. There's another collar on there. How about that? I don't recommend banging an axle on this ground usually, but we're going against carpet. This bearing is just coming apart. Wow. That's part of our problem right there. Oh, that just made it even more fun. Because there's a collar that wants to stay on there. If you look down in here, this bearing's coming into two pieces. The race is coming apart off of here. Fun. Fun. There we go. There's that guy. And now we get to get that off. Jeez. Jeez. Awesome. Barely pressed in there. I like that. That's awesome. It's a good design, Toyota. I like it. All right. Well, clearly we got to work to get this other part of the race off. Probably the easiest way to get this off is set it in the vise. We're going to have to grind or cut a notch in that and see if we can't split that and get it to come off of there. That's a special one. That's going to be a fun one. So we're going to get to cutting on that, see if we can't remove it, because it doesn't belong on there. It's not going to mate up to that properly. I can tell you that. Right meow. Right meow. And then on this one, we're going to have to take this stud out and swap it over, because, you know, why not? Why would the new one come with it? But look at that, man. Those things were toasted. I think we were about due. She's getting ready to implode or something. So I don't know. Figure out how to get that off of there and then move on to the next step. I know, I got the axle a little bit. I always do. That's how you know someone's been there, is when it's been chopped into, you know? All right, let's see if this will come apart or not. There's that piece. That's good. A little slice in the axle is not going to hurt anything. The seal rides against this race that goes on here anyways. That's where your seal rides. That's not going to hurt anything. It'll be covered by the bearing. So it'll all be good. So settle down, cowboy. Settle down. Okay? Just relax. So all you gotta do is cut a notch in that. You run a chisel and it'll expand that steel enough to get it off. Should be good to go. We're gonna do a little bit more inspecting on it, and we'll start kind of going back together, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. So supposedly some of these presses come with a collar. Well, they all come with this collar that's supposed to help you press this keeper onto an axle shaft. This one, yes, is designed for an older Tacoma. Like we had said before, the brain is just not working. It's been working overtime here. It's designed for the older Tacoma, so obviously that's not going to help us at all. To be honest with you, this one didn't even work on the older Tacoma that it's supposed to work on. So it was pressing this onto the, it's a pointless collar. So on the old Tacoma, if you look back on our old videos, I took just a piece of pipe and I honed it out a little bit so that it would fit over the taper of that shaft. Well, that doesn't work on the larger shafts of the Tundra. So what I found was I was able to get the bearing pressed all the way on, all the way to the seal, by using all the plates and the keepers and all that stuff. We'll show you on the next one, I'm sure. But then what that did is it left this keeper and the washer separated from the bearing. So we still needed to get that down on there. I don't have a collar that fit that. I looked at getting another keeper ring, and it was going to take a couple days to get it. So I don't want to wait. Nor should you. So I took the old race. Remember, our old bearing fell apart, and I had sliced this race so it kind of gapped that out a little bit. And I just set her down on there. And I went full He-Man style. Being honest with you. So all I had to do is get this keeper ring and the washer pressed down there far enough for the snap ring. So I just set that guy on there. I took our spacer, tool, whatever, gappy guy, and I just went straight He-Man on it. I just literally just was slide hammer, drop hammer, beating the living piss out of it because, well, that's not going to hurt anything because it's just flat, a little bit rounded steel. It's not going to hurt that. It's not going to get past that ring. So I'm not worried about it slipping and moving and getting sideways and banging something. So with that on there and this on here, we were literally able to just drop hammer it and beat it into submission. Oh boy. This, again, like I say, every video is why I don't need to go to the gym. Because, you know, just a little She-Ra on this thing, and we got her. So we were able to beat it into submission, get it down past. Remember, taper goes away from the bearing, and we were able to get that snap ring back on there. So we know everything is happy and seated right. And boy, I'll tell you, that last whack, when it went tink instead of thud, oh, what a beautiful sound that is. Because you just know you're home. You're done with all this mess, and you can go back to assembly and everything. So, yeah, we had some fun. I'll tell you this also. On the old wheel bearing, hub, whatever you want, I don't know, whatever you guys want to call it. Well, you guys are going to tell me I'm wrong anyways. It's got a stud for your speed sensor or ABS sensor, whatever, and that's got a nut on it. The new one does not have the stud. You could try to get that stud out if you want. I don't know. I just made a bolt. So I had some 10 millimeter, whatever size metric dingleberries that was. I cut the bolt down a little bit short because I wanted to make sure it doesn't bottom out in there. Cleaned up the threads, and we're going to change that over to a bolt from a stud and a nut. And all I got to do is, well, put my bracket back on there. We'll straighten the bracket out a little bit. We'll put this back on. Here, I thought I was done, and I got to weld this guy back on here. So we'll get this lined up. We'll weld that bracket back on, and we should be able to go back together. This has just been fun. I could notch this tool here, but then when I notch it, it's going to get in the way of where it bolts. I could re-drill all that and go through all this, but it's just, this is easier. The amount that I'm going to be doing it. If I'm going to do more of these, then we'll go buy some other tool or modify one or make our own. I don't know. So it just seems like this takes a lot of fun modifications for this job. My buddy was going to do this in his backyard. Yeah, right. All right, let me get this put back together. I almost forgot I needed to put that on there because I was just so happy and excited and ecstatic that this went back together. So I'm going to bend this bracket back straight. It got a little twisties, and we're going to spot weld that back on there. That should be easy enough, hopefully. Yep. Well, I got ahead of you guys and I went ahead and pulled the axle seal here. The inner outer sealy thingy dealy dob. I don't care what you call it, it needs to be replaced. So, I don't know. Went ahead and pulled this one, just took a pair of channel locks, got behind it, rotated, came right out, dropped a little bit of oils. It's kind of handy dandy. We're gonna see if this works. You can go buy the expensive seal driver kit if you want, but I don't want. So we're gonna stick this seal in here. And the idea is to get it straight, make sure everything's real happy, you know. So I just like to kind of tap them in a little bit, just get them started so they're happy. And then this actually turns out to be a pretty good little seal driver if we wanted to. Like either way, it's pretty freaking cool. This is that inner race again that you know, was from the bearing. Actually turns out like that could be good. You can use a large socket, a piece of wood, whatever you want. You just want to tap that in there flush and you know, get your seal replaced. So if you're pulling the axle shaft, replace the seal. That's all I'm telling you. Okay, so we're gonna put that in. Then we're gonna heave-ho that axle over here and slam it in and see if we did everything right. I went ahead and welded the bracket back on there for the brakes. And so let me get this put in real quick and we'll go get that axle. We'll get everything lined up and I don't know, maybe say a few choice words to it off camera and then, you know, it'll work. That's just how these things work, you know? Okay. I'm gonna try a block of wood. This is my old school way of doing it, man. That's how I used to do it back on my semis. I had the freaking semi trucks, man. That's how we'd punch them in there. Then you can really work an edge. You can have some fun with it. Really doesn't do too much damage. Maybe a little bit of damage, but you know, not enough for it to count. That kind of allows you to kind of get a flush edge on that thing, you know? You guys still watching me? Jeez. Some nosy rosies around here, you know? Always keeping their eyes on me. Doing that wrong. Yep, I know. I know. You're gonna kill somebody. Sure. Yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen, you know? Because a seal was put in with a block of wood. This is how I've always done it, guys. Like it or not, I'm not really concerned. It's just how I've always done it, you know? I mean, like I said, you can use this if you want. You can even set that in there and then put the block of wood and bang, 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 whatever you want. Like, just don't hurt this edge. That's why I kind of like this, because it's got the rounded edge, so it's actually kind of cool. It like fits in there nicely. But I just resort to the old school, what I'm used to with a block of wood. I don't know. So it's always worked for me, so it should work for you. Oh, hi-ho, it's off to work you go. Hi-ho, 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 hi-ho. Oh, this feels like Thor's hammer or something, man. Just gonna carry it. Make sure you jam it in there and make sure you bang up the axles. Bend everything, break everything while you're going in. That's where you're supposed to be. Oh, we put the freaking brake thing back on the proper way. Would you look at that? We actually did it almost like a guy knows what he's doing. Holy crap. Almost. Almost. And you all, you know, you all had your doubts and said, that guy will never become anything. And you were right. You know, you were right. Look at that. Almost like we know sort of what we're doing. I gotta go get the nuts that go on the back of here. We'll bring this thing home, tighten everything up, and we'll start going back together. Man, that is actually going to work. I like that. It's kind of fancy. We just modified Toyota stuff to make it more better than the way they had it. Because they had it crappy like, and we made it more better. You're welcome, Toyota. If you're looking for engineers who aren't going to screw it all up and ruin it for mechanics, keep looking, because the ones you have ain't working. Well, I ain't working for you. Oh, I dropped the towel. That's how much muscle was flexing. Click. 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 That towel is just not wanting to. You know what? You've been relegated to Muckister. Go to the back where you can hang out longer and smell me. Okay. Sure. Bring the brake back in. Bring that little breaker cable back in. Breaker 1 cable. It's got a little pinhole. It sits in over here somewhere. Just gotta get it in there. Why on earth? Oh, it's in there. Okay. Oh, and that's a little 10 millimeters. Pulling back in that guy. Uh-huh. We'll put that guy back in. But basically, you're just gonna, you know, we're gonna go back together. Everything that you just took out, well, it goes back in. You know, from whence it came. My tools have been sitting in the sun. They are hot and on fire. That's the fun part. When it comes summertime, we actually need a cooler to put our tools in. If you're gonna be outside. Because boy, oh boy, do they get hot. All right, this is the little one that we modified. The old one was a stud with a nut on it. And we are going to a bolt. So that's why you keep all your bolts, guys. You know, why are you a hoarder? Why do you keep everything? This is the exact reason. Because when we need it, it's there for us. Click. And look at that. Perfectly made, custom for this truck. Huh? How do you like that? Catch me outside. And this guy's got to line back up. Should line right back up. Just got to get it in its little notch where it belongs. It was just barely off. I mean, I'm talking barely. You just had to rotate it a little bit. It was off by like nothing. It just was barely rotated off. So I think that's just from the positioning of re-welding that on there. I mean, it's going to change the dynamics a little bit. So we had to just kind of put a little bit of a on the line, and she's all good now. So all right, guys, well, that gets the axle back in, the bearing back in, all this other stuff back in, and really all we got to do is reassemble brakes, put all that back together, and rotors, calipers, pads, you're good to go. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of hammer through this. We're gonna bang out the other side. If anything interesting happens, we'll show it to you, but should be pretty much like this side, but easier, because now we've figured out all the little specialty, weird, funky doodabber pieces that we needed to find to make this come together with the tools that we bought that were supposed to work but don't. And so we made them work. We beat them into submission. Sometimes that's what you got to do. This is why I don't like having the customers around when I'm doing some of this stuff, because you know, sometimes if you worked on cars long enough, you realize that sometimes you do things that customers are going to go, you're hurting my car, and you're not. We're just doing what needs to be done. So love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you learned something here. if nothing else, a few choice words. And yeah. Oh yeah, don't forget, we've had little things laying around here. These guys, Nectar. We love Nectar. You can go to nectar.energy, so NECTR.energy, and you can get you some. These are not the Dippin' Dots that you think they are. They're not the nicotine ones. This one's not even open. Drew gives me a can that's not even open. This one is iced mango. We got them laying all over the place because we're using them all the time. I think this one is just a, which one's this one? Nootropic. So this is for helping me focus, right, Drew? It's gonna help my brain work better. So when you see us using these, it's because it's Nectar, non-nicotine, guys. So don't judge me. These have got like vitamins and supplements and fun things in it that, you know, help your brain to think a little bit better, which clearly I need. So Nectar, good friends of ours. They're helping us out, taking care of us by keeping our brains focused and our energy levels up without having to pop all those caffeine drinks. You know, it's better for you and stuff. Love you guys, appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. And yeah, as always, we'll catch you on the next one. All right, Toyota, you better come together right now.